it. See, look, the room's full of people. Okay, we'll call ourselves to order. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? I have one. I-3 fire on Water Street. Anything else? None? Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Seconder?
Second.
Yeah, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays, say nay. Okay, so tonight we always put the delegates up first, in case you. So we have Andrew here, our municipal advisor. She's filling in for Marilyn Hay, who's off for a bit. How much longer is she?
She'll be back in mid-July.
Mid-July, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know, Andrew, you can come out front and introduce yourself here, right in the, we get you in between the, this inner sanctum here, so you can't get in, so. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm Andrea Hislop. I'm the municipal advisor. As the mayor has indicated, I'm covering for Mary Lynn Hay until middle of July. I'm just kind of going around and seeing what's going on in different municipal units. So that's why I'm here tonight, just to observe. I won't leave a Yelp review after. But yeah, I think there's probably a few topics that people are interested in. I probably don't really have much of an update that I would be able to share with you. I think service exchange might be a topic that people might be interested in. Unfortunately, I can't provide an update just in terms of something will be coming, and when more information is available to share, that will be done. I do know that we finished our round of code of conduct consultations, and that was on sanctions and investigator options. So we're going to be going out with a finalized package for feedback in the coming weeks. And I think those are kind of the two main topics that I can provide updates on at this point. But if there's any questions, happy to take your questions and see if I can find information or get back to you.
Of course, we have a new one, but it's not yours, Department of Justice and RCMP costs.
Yes, yeah.
The increase in the rates and retro back pay.
Yes,
Yeah.
so I did reach out to Justice last week, and the information, they don't have any recent updates that they can provide at this time, but they're expecting something hopefully soon. They're waiting to hear back from the federal government. So that's the information that I can provide related to RCMP costs at this time.
It's hard for a little municipal unit like us to continually absorbing those big increases year after year.
Yes,
And also not getting the policing that we should be getting.
right, yeah.
We're paying, well, some days I think we're paying for officers that don't exist.
1.1.
Yeah, 1.1 million. That's a little.
For 0.1 officers.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's always an officer that's been transferred out, an officer that's on paternity, an officer that's ill, an officer that's off.
Yeah.
5 officers, and sometimes we don't have any.
Yeah.
One.
60% of resources.
Yeah, 60% of resources. That's the big one. We can't rely on you, but.
Yeah, and I do know that some of the concerns that you've raised or some of the challenges that you've mentioned just in that discussion there, I do know that there's other municipalities that are experiencing similar things. So I'm not exactly sure what discussions are occurring to try and alleviate particularly those human resources challenges that a lot of municipalities are facing, but I do know that you aren't alone in kind of experiencing those.
Our equalization grant going up 25% this year.
That I can't comment on. Yeah.
This is being recorded, by the way.
Yes.
So when you say yes, you're on.
Yeah. What was that line that you guys said before?
I can either confirm.
I can neither confirm nor deny. Yeah.
That was the housing front. We've got a group in town, the Siesta Motel, and they're trying to, now see they're asking for donations and trying to get off the ground.
Yeah.
We're struggling too as a council. We put a plan together, but looking for funding eventually too.
Yeah, housing is a really hot topic right now across all of Nova Scotia. Kind of that increase in influx in people coming here and looking to settle has really created some rippling effects for municipalities to be able to address. I do know that there is a funding program that is available. I can send those details to Tom. I'm not sure how that would tie with this project that you have on the go, but I do know that there was a recent funding that was announced from CMHC, so I can send that those funding details to Tom, and you guys can maybe evaluate that to see if it might apply.
Yeah, I don't know, that'll apply to, we have a building that council has said turn it into affordable housing, so.
Yeah.
I think that CMHC program mentioned municipal governments.
Yes, yeah, it did. Yeah. The recent, well, at least the one that I'm thinking of, I don't recall the name exactly, but the recent one that was just announced, I think, last week.
I saw the announcement, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, at one point too, with Tideview, we were looking at doing a project as far as a residence type thing for traveling nurses and
Right.
your CAAs and all that stuff, so it's like, whether we can apply for that or not, I'm not sure, if there's anything there at all, right?
Yeah.
There was something about containers, what was that thing we talked about before?
That
There
was
something
temporary
for
housing.
Temporary
Problems,
housing, yeah. But, we were looking at actually for nurses and students to use it, so.
Right.
But it is town municipal housing board.
Yeah, but they have to do it on their own, I think. Yeah, I talked to Tom about it, because they're our own entity, because we don't give Tideview money.
No, it's provincially funded. So what other good news do you have for us?
I think those are kind of the hot topics that are currently on the go now. I know that there was like that, I don't know if there was an announcement, but there was that CBC article related to kind of the Coastal Protection Act, that they're kind of halting that and going to do a little bit more consultation. But I don't.
We do have challenges here.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't have any other information. We just found that out almost at the same time that article had come through. So we'll see if that maybe any type of communication can go out to municipalities maybe about that.
So I'm going to ask you this: what's the chatter inside the department over Anna Knish? I'm involved in that. A reporter friend of mine I subscribed to his newsletter. So.
Yeah. The Antigonish consolidation, the government has chosen at this time not to introduce special legislation into the House. So at this point, we're just awaiting direction from our minister.
That's not going to disappear.
Yeah.
That's continue to be in the hop.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I think in terms maybe at the staff level, what I can share is our department just got a new executive director, and his name is Andrew Atherton. And then Mark Peck has left municipal affairs. He's with Public Works now, and he was replaced by Valerie Bungie. So those are the two staffing updates that I could provide from our department.
I don't know if you hear it in other councils, but some of us have a real issue with social services and the housing condition they're in. They're just miserable.
Yeah.
If that was a resident that owned those homes, we'd be after them for unsightly, and they're just a mess.
Yeah.
It's gotten a little more challenging too, where now it's changed to the Crown Corporation that we used to have people we could talk to that we knew.
Right.
Now those contacts are all further down the line.
Right. Yeah, if there's a specific contact that you're looking for to get in touch with, then, I'm happy to kind of help support in that way. If there's anything I might be able to do to kind of get you connected with the right people.
Kind of frustrating. I know they're frustrated.
Yeah.
We're hearing from people trying to find a place to live, and it's, a lot of situations are desperate.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't even have a place that they could offer,
Yeah.
It's horrible.
It is. It really is.
The local manager here, I had a conversation on this with Tom, and she said, we do have an issue with unsightly, and we follow that process, and they deserve a fine, they get fined. That allows them to to seek help too.
It doesn't seem like there was much movement either. They were supposed to streamline some of the processes where if there was a family of 2 and a 3-bedroom, they would try and juggle to free up the space.
Yeah.
I haven't seen or heard anything like that happening here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was under that same impression that they were looking to do that, so I can, I don't know if that just hasn't been applicable here, but I can maybe reach out to some people and see if there's any information we might be able to provide.
Well, you're welcome to sit right there and listen to us.
Perfect.
It's kind of a dry agenda tonight. So try to stir people up for you. Come. Come. Yeah.
I just want to mention that Andrea was key in us getting our money from the school,
Oh, thank you.
the fire protection in the school. She worked very diligently, very hard on that file.
Only took 3 years. Only took 3 years. But I'm glad that it happened.
Bring cookies.
Yes.
Anyway,
I hope you paid for lunch.
yes, we
You
did.
did. It don't pay for mine, but.
Actually, you did.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, I left there and forgot to pay for mine, so I just invested, I'll be back over after council. Okay, excuse me, we'll move on. Minutes of the previous meeting, March 6th. Everybody, not a good frog, I guess. Everybody's had a chance to review those. If so, can we have a motion to approve them?
So just one question.
Yeah.
Uh, During the meeting, we had discussed the square footage of 883, but since then it was amended, should that be noted in there in any way?
It was,
I guess it doesn't necessarily say whether it's monthly or annually, because it's the annual rate, but just wondering if that should be amended or not.
and that the committee of the whole, you said you discussed that. And, yeah, we could, make the amendment.
Otherwise, that's all.
Yeah, so you want the amendment made in the minutes?
Maybe just a clarification that it's 883 per square foot for the annual rate, as opposed to
Yeah.
the monthly rate, because it creates a very high monthly rate.
Okay. Yeah, is everybody happy with the amendments?
I think,
Okay. So, you made the motion, you're prepared to amend that?
Yeah.
And you are. Seconders to it?
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? None. And no business arising from those minutes.
Just one thing for NSFN, the fire department is doing the casino night, and then Tide Timber is confirmed as well, so.
Good.
Okay with that, NSF.
And you want me to give a few remarks? You can tell me what to say, or?
No, she said, well, you're the chair, you gotta do this. No, I'm roughly there.
Oh, you didn't tell me.
But I had to be honest,
Well, I'm just warning you, if you don't write the remarks down, then you're in dangerous territory.
There we go on.
Anyway, you let me know what it is.
All right.
Okay, we'll move into reports. CAO.
Okay, it's been another busy month.
We'll see that.
Next item is the RCMP budget. Justice Department has established the budget for the RCMP costs under the Provincial Police Services Agreement for 23-24 fiscal year. Our costs are $1,067,924. That's up 6.04% over the 22-23 cost of $1,007,000. The Department of Justice has seen the federal budget announcement regarding RCMP retro costs and is reviewing it before they respond to it. So on April the 12th, Michelle Matthews, Contract Administrator from Public Safety and Security Divisions, will be convening a Microsoft Teams meeting between the Provincial Police Services Agreement, CAOs, representatives of the Finance and Treasury Department and herself, dedicated to the 2023-2024 cost per officer. They will break down each line item to ensure everybody fully understands how the cost is calculated and have the opportunity to ask questions about the cost per officer.
My question facetiously is the cost per officer that we are paying for, or the cost per officer we actually get?
Well, that's the problem. It's, I don't know if you knew who the officers were down there, but two of them, they weren't town officers, they were district officers. I don't know who the third one was. I was just noting that,
Yeah,
here we are.
and that, of course, that's always been,
Yeah, the way.
that's always been the way.
That's not a bad thing.
No.
What was going on, that's a good thing, but.
It is definitely not a bad thing.
No.
We have tried to convince them that the detachment should be a regional force, whatever, share in the members, but you don't actually pay for age specific. You're paid by the time you're paid, and use them wherever. At one time, they used to have, if a district officer downtown and answered a complaint and started the file, when they got back to the detachment, they would have to pass that file over to a town member to complete the file, which didn't make a lot of sense. Now they're gonna have to do that, right? Whenever officer attends a scene and starts the file, sees it through, they see it through. So there has been some changes, but the justice won't recognize as it being a regional force.
Well, we can talk about it. I brought up the fire, because I ended up calling the detachment, and I know the director of public works called the detachment too, to the scene. Yeah, and others did too, so, yeah. Okay, well, I'll mention that in my,
Okay, subdivision of town lands, the subdivision applications for the properties on Harris Road, Shore Road, and Third Avenue have been approved by the subdivision officer and has been sent to the registry of deeds to be registered. Once that's done, then we can decide whether put them up for sale.
well, Shore Road, yeah. I get asked weekly about that.
Yeah, and Shore Road and
Yeah.
Harris Road has already been dealt with. Shore Road and a lot on Third Avenue can be sold.
Do we have a normal realtor that we use?
No, we don't. Well, we have a real.
Just wondering who to direct people to look for when the property comes up. Should people reach out with the Shore Road as well?
I mean, we have used Christine in the past, Christine Harnish in the past. She's done a lot of, she's a person that I reach out to quite frequently when we need to get a ballpark figure what piece of property would be worth, based on that, so. The council hasn't made a decision on who we should list, anything like that, but.
Yeah, well, I think as long as it gets listed in LS.
Yeah.
So that all workers have a chance at it.
The mini home on Sydney Street, so the vacant lot on Carlton Street is being prepared for the mini home presently located at 74 Sydney Street. located there, and that lot preparation has attracted a fair amount of attention. And, so a person that was interested in that lot a while ago was in my office again and, expressing interest, and I explained to him probably how the process was gonna work, that it was gonna be listed, but he was free to, put his offer in.
People don't believe we will put the tower there. Came up with Tim Hortons crowd.
Probably Halifax, the Yarmouth Ferry Service.
Yes, yeah, Halifax, everywhere, yeah. Any questions for the CEO?
Can we get a Halifax to Digby ferry afterwards?
Well, there used to be Digby Ferry that used to go to Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some pictures of that.
Called Boston.
Yeah, the GSS Boston. Committee of the whole report. So I want to make, we gotta pay our insurance bill, and we do that so that part of the budget process. These are things that need to be paid regardless of whether or not we've got some budget or not, so we do need insurance.
I'll make a motion to purchase of insurance for the year 23, or 2023-24, for the town of Digby in an amount of $1,749.96. Excuse me,
Yes.
$1,704.96 through our insurance broker Link.
Yeah, our insurance broker technically is a broker link, but the broker link is 600 insurance agents across the, or 600 agencies across the country. John part of that. Anybody want to second that? Second. Any discussion on it? That's out.
How much?
7%, wasn't it? Or I forget.
Oh, more than that.
Yeah, 12% maybe.
Oh, 12%.
Yeah, but that's the nature of the insurance business right now. Any discussion on it? It's up, like the RCMP cost, so equalization grant probably will be more this year. All those in favor of that motion say aye. Any nays? None? Waste check. I sat in on that waste check before, my first meeting. Yeah. So there was, I don't like the feel that you're saying, there was, there's still a lot of discussion going on in emails about, giving raises.
It's for their benefits.
Yeah, the benefits, yeah, because the benefits is not so much. The same with the Western County Library, which is an issue. I've called the NSFM to see whether they would fall under that. I've never heard that, but they haven't approved the raises. The conversation was they could absorb it into the budget, and so it would cost the municipalities anymore. Where does it come? Municipalities, so make that statement. So they're talking about, the emails are circulating, there's been no approval of it yet.
No.
So,
He was gonna look into the Chamber of Commerce. Right after the meeting, they sent an email to take a vote on it when he didn't do anything yet, so.
yeah, well, it needs to be more work done before just saying they needed it. They're looking for 18,000 more.
Almost 20,000.
Yeah,
But it's a sin, I mean, it's our employees, so, I mean.
yeah, you want to take
Just,
care of it.
you gotta get them something, but it's just the procedure of it.
Any questions on that report? Digby Recreation.
Reports in the package. Try to answer any questions you may have.
Congratulations on $300,000.
Yes, very nice, very nice.
Are we getting a pickleball court?
Zamboni.
They've been playing pickleball since.
Oh, I know,
I don't imagine we'll get a pickleball court. But it's getting popular again. I see it was on TSN again, the championship game. it's a new.
One thing about the curling club is once we use those sheets, we can put pickleball inside the curling club in the summertime because without getting on the floor, because the floor peels now, so.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. We can use that more.
Yeah, cause you can take the center parts up and make it wider.
Yeah. And the rock climbing board is gonna go up in there as well.
Great.
I know there must be more to it, it's just the way it's written, but why are we sending Cindy on a trip to the Royal Nova Scotia International Tattoo?
That is with,
That's
with
with
Time
procedures or
View, yes, with Time View and Citizens Come.
I figured it was, I read it before I was fun.
Yeah.
Cindy.
It's like a nanny.
And,
Yeah.
And a lot of it's to do with grants and stuff, you know, you can get grants and stuff.
Yeah. I assume it was to it.
And with, you know, the curling Canadian championships that we've had here and the hockey and, so I was looking for opportunities to promote the area.
Yeah, I wondered the same thing, I read it, so. Okay.
And they're still working on this communities and schools.
We had a good discussion about that when I was talking to,
Debbie.
Debbie.
Yeah.
She seems to be very aware of everything, so that's good.
And she's the one that attended the meeting, so.
At least they've recognized differences right across the province of how different facilities are and how different they've been treated. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions for the chair? Digby Fire Department, report.
We talked a lot about the budget for them for the coming year, and had some explanations on certain pieces of gear, what they cost, how long they survive, which ones they can stagger costs for over time, and unfortunately some of the stuff that needs to be bought all in one shot. And it's really expensive.
It is, they follow the NFSA standards, National Fire Fighting Association standards, so.
Well, I'd like to say that clearly we don't need all that stuff, but after the last week, they've been really busy and done a lot of hard work, especially for groups of volunteers.
But it just shows you when you have an incident like that, how lucky we are to have fire department you, and how lucky we are to have partners in the area.
The mutual aid system, it's just,
Fantastic.
And you're lucky that it wasn't Southwest Redneck time.
Right.
So we,
And the next day we return the favor, we go into concept.
that's it.
yeah, they, you see the utility truck, well, that truck is, well, yeah, I was in there, I've been there 10 years now, and that truck was 10 years. Yeah,
Thank you.
that truck is, yeah. The truck
You can
is,
say it's been in salt water so many times.
yeah, I guess.
Step on
I remember seeing stuff on the beach. Had nothing to do with it.
That was on the beach.
Just that. What was me or not, yeah. Anyway, yeah. But the fire hall is looking wonderful. 2 bays on this end and refresh the front, and it's a fantastic looking building. Yeah. Okay. Special Committee of the Whole report. This again is part of the budget process to get these grants approved so that it knows where we're headed with them, so.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Before you leave the fire report, yeah, that needs to be approved by council.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that, part of the budget, yeah, sorry.
The minutes as part of the.
Yeah,
that
package.
committee.
Although, you know, they are us, but. Now a motion to approve that report?
So, second.
Yeah, everybody ready for that one, yeah. Seconder,
Second.
any more discussion on But you're right, the equipment in there is stuff that has to get replaced every so often, so.
I had some of their helmets there, and they had to buy them all at once, trying to avoid that again.
Yeah. Well, they went through, we changed to a funky style helmet and then got rid of those, so bought everybody new helmets 1 year there, so they should just rotate somebody a year.
And there's a life expectancy.
There is, and technically, if you drop it on the ground hard, it should be replaced.
I think they're 10 years, I think, 12 years.
I forget.
10.
There is a lifespan.
I think it's 10, yeah.
Okay, all those in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Motion is carried. Now we'll move on to special committee report. So again, this is part of the budget process. Staff wanted to know some of these things that we need to approve early so they can plan their budgeting. So we're happy with that. We need a motion to approve those grants to organizations.
Make the motion that we approve that.
I'll just declare a contract with the big business one.
Yes, sir.
I'll second.
Any discussion since 27th of March, anything new? No?
Sure we can't get, is it data down to 6,000?
Yeah.
But otherwise, no.
Otherwise, no, okay. Okay. If no further discussion, noting what the deputy mayor declared a conflict, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? No. We're just going too easy tonight. We don't need the behaviors up because Andrew's here.
Exactly.
This is a question.
Yeah.
So if I have conflict with the Christmas on Maiden Lane, the deputy mayor has conflict, and if we had one more, are we technically out of the quorum?
No, there's three of us.
Well, you could do the
No,
motion
yeah.
separately too.
Yeah, that's my question. If we have one more person on council involved in one.
That's what happens in a small town.
Yeah.
But your conflict, you're not directly involved.
No.
No, you're not directly involved. Deputy mayor is directly involved in organizing this event. This is because of the family connection.
But like I said, I guess, one by one, that would be.
You could do one by one,
Yeah.
if that's the case, yeah.
Yeah, we can get through it. It'd be a long night, but we get through it.
We could've gave the fire department everything one time, cause we had everybody firefighting.
Yeah, everybody here,
Everybody here was firefighters.
firefighters at one time in
Yeah.
council. Yeah, so. That's when they should have pushed for the
That's
fire.
right.
And the ladder truck they asked me about Friday or Thursday.
Yeah. Surprised they didn't bring that from Norristown.
Yeah, it's good because the fire chief came from Annapolis.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in Annapolis. He was working there. Okay, nominating committee report. That was the nominating committee met. And I just closed that out on myself here by mistake, just let me bring that. We met, reviewed the applications that came forward. There were 5, all good, as always, all good candidates. So the nominating report, after reviewing the terms of reference, and the applicants came up with these 4 names for the various committees. The nominating committee consisted of Councilor Sonia, myself, and Peter, Councilor Sherman. So this has to be ratified by council. And then, no word on the municipality, the district, so we don't know who the districts are gonna be. I suggested that they don't get anybody, that we had extra names, we could use them, but so that would go over well. So what we would need is a motion to approve these positions, and once we have our side approved, we have to wait for the district to approve theirs. And I had suggested at the meeting that once that's done, they need to understand the terms of reference, and I thought about bringing up someone from Yarmouth to sit with us and we'll talk about their experience around the marketing level and the challenges the committee, I'm sure is going to face, so.
I'll move that we accept the names as put forward by the nominating committee.
I'll second that.
Second. So any discussion?
Charles Otter, who's he?
The manager of the Bonds Hotel. Yeah. Yeah, he, and he has his applicant is quite extensive in his experience. So sure, we don't have, well, it's on the cloud, you can look at it. Yeah, but he has quite an
He has
experience
marketing experience.
too, yeah. And also has worked in the restaurant industry and things like that, so he's well versed, so I think I know he'll be an asset to the committee. Any other comments on it?
Any reason for the shorter term for one of the four that are on there? So why is Saskey's? Okay.
Yeah.
It's in the terms of reference of the Marketing Promotions Levy Advisory Committee that the operator appointment be for 3 years and the citizen appointment be for 2 years. That's try to have an overlap so you're not losing your 2 citizen members at the same time. We'll have some sort of continuity.
And some experience on the committee. And you know, refresh every couple of years, 2 or 3 years is good to get new people. So I believe there's gonna be a lot of work before you start seeing any money rolling over. Yeah. Okay, all those in favor of that motion to accept the nominate?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? None. And, okay, senior safety, well, yeah, we put that in there. No correspondence tonight?
Yeah. Just,
Yeah.
on Friday, a letter came from the Minister of Municipal Affairs,
Oh,
addressed to the mayor. I'm pleased to advise the Department of Municipal Affairs and Housing has approved a grant of $335,256 to support infrastructure investments in your community under the new Sustainable Services Growth Fund, SSGF for short. SSGF can be used to support municipal services by investing in municipal infrastructure needed to serve a growing population, improve sustainability, and provide increased resiliency. Please refer to the attached terms and conditions for more information on the funding approval. If you accept this offer, please sign the terms and conditions and send the program email listed below. So,
you would have thought I remember getting $300,000. I forgot. I was so excited to hear about the 25% increase in equalization there. No pressure. Yeah.
So, yeah. So that was,
Good news, yes.
that was good news.
I will send it out I received it on my phone Friday, I saw it Friday night. It was CC'd to the CAF, so.
Actually, the director of finance brought it to my attention because he got the facts that it was already in her bank account. He said, "What's this money for?"
Yeah. Well, want to thank the minister for it, so. Yeah.
Happy to accept checks.
Yeah, we're happy to do that. Under new business, we have Digby Area Senior Safety. Excuse me. So they're looking for a grant or money 22,000 to 20,800 this year. What was the discussion around the table?
So that's basically,
Yeah.
before the horse, we were talking about budget, and
Yeah.
we were talking about what we're gonna physically, and financially, and I made the point that we have to ask for the money before we can actually create the budget, so that's why we're
Yeah.
actually partners saying this is our request before we actually approve the budget.
And this is just very similar to all the other ones that we have approved. We tend to approve some of these before we get into the. So the increase is just,
To get us back to, well, even, I believe. So there was a slight deficit in senior safety for last year, projected to be more for this year, and need more money from everybody to make it work. And it's not as if, like, nothing individually went super high. I think the insurance costs went even higher for senior safety than anything else.
Yeah.
And this may not include a slight increase in insurance we'll likely have, because there was a recommendation put forward that we look at a potential higher policy limit for errors and omissions.
what's the limit?
2 million, they're looking at 5, was that the option you gave us? Yeah, and that was brought up by me just based on the fact that, well, everything has gone up, but so have things like investments, home values and everything else, and that if anything were to ever occur that, someone decided to take the town to court over, $2 million might not be enough.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you know if it's claims made policy or per occurrence? Might be a question like that. So
that would be a great question to ask,
Yeah.
not sure.
Yeah, I would find it. Because they're both handled differently, they both have timelines on
The other big one too was wages and salary too, because we had a big COLA year,
them. Yeah.
and whether or not we increase or how much we increase, we haven't made that decision yet on Dawn's wages. It's another ball in play. But
Yeah.
again, and the conferences too, because they haven't got together as a group, all the safety officers across the province for the past couple of years, so they put a little bit more of an increase in the budget for that one.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, Don did bring up the 25,000 grant. Most, like, they're talking making it higher going forward. I think they're in their final year of their 3-year agreement. Well, there's potential talk of it going higher, so there may be more money coming from the province on that side. Hopefully, lots of dollars.
Her job is, like she said, her job has gone into the direction she's anticipating mental health issues and all that stuff that she's getting calls for all the time.
It was sort of like a topics, actually, as we had said, it was wonderful that the province had initiated the product program with the mobile doctors. But health problems are not always a broken arm. There's no pilot program for psychiatrists or psychologists.
No, and that's really risen to the surface this year, after 2 years of COVID.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody wanna make a motion to put this forward, or more discussion?
Gladly makes a motion to, send it to budget for 20,800.
I'll second that.
To send it to budget?
That's
Or
where you want
approve
it.
it. Or approve it?
Want to approve.
Should we,
Approve
wearing my other hat as advisor for the senior safety,
We got
board,
the check.
I
We
would
need
say
to approve.
we would prefer to be approved funding so that they know exactly how much revenue that we're going to get, so they know
Now,
if they have to do any cuts or.
now, if the other two funding partners don't agree to the increase, I'm sure they will, confident they will, but just, it always is a possibility. Yeah, no.
I'll change that to approve the budget of 20,800.
Same for the second.
Say in a second, you accept the change?
Yeah.
And that's,
Approving it and what you actually pay out.
yeah,
Yeah, because that's just a preliminary budget, that's not a finalized budget.
Yeah,
So I'm going up 4,000 in 6 years, so.
Yeah, it's not so bad.
and then it was stagnant for a number of years prior to that.
Probably so, yeah.
Okay, all those in favor of that motion? Say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? None. Signing authority.
Anyway,
Yes, sorry. Spending authority. Now, this is where staff wants $2.2 million. No, we approved the grants to the organization, we've done our community program here.
okay, we'll just close her down tomorrow. Until the budget's approved.
And again, this is something that we do early on, so they continue paying their bills until. Is this hard? What was do you remember what the pre-approval was last year?
The pre-approval last year was 2.1 or something. It was based on last year's, 50% of last year's revenue, right? So, budget line. We never get to 50% before the budget's approved, but this gives us that flexibility in case we have issues.
Is there work being done on the budget now? In the finance department?
Yeah, there's some preliminary things.
And we'll, you think we'll see it in late May, June?
I would say June. We should be able to do it. I'd like to get it passed in June.
Okay.
As always, biggest struggle is wages.
Well, that's a struggle right across.
Across different.
Is the province having conversations on wages around because of COVID? Not putting you in the spot, but.
Not that I've been privy to.
I haven't heard any buzz from anybody on what they may do.
And as far as municipal units,
Yeah.
are all over the board because of union contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that's unionized, they have contracts, so they're locked into those. So it's a lot of them, their increase is a lot less than the cost of living, the 7.4 cost of living. Some of them's only 2 and 3% that are going to increase, but that's locked into the contract.
It's down to 5 something now, but it's
It's so hard to, I mean, it's a blip.
Yeah.
I was looking last week, 5
That's why I think, if you combine the cost, the blip in the cost of living, along with our salary scale review, sort of combine it, set the salary,
The
then
net.
it'll,
Yeah.
it may work its way going forward. 'Cause
Because that's quite a bell curve. If you
Yeah.
actually put that in now, that keeps going.
Yeah. So does everybody want us to pay our bills for the next 2 months?
Yeah.
If we do, we need a motion for that.
I'll make a motion to council approve one half the operating budget for 2022, 2023, the amount of $2,286,404.04, for the purpose of providing spending authority for business and continuity the fiscal year planning beginning April 1st, 2023, and until a full operating budget is presented and approved by council.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Any more conversation on that?
23, 24, 22,
it's based on
Based
last
on
year's,
okay.
half, 50% of last year's approved budget. Right.
Are there any large projects that we've got that will be starting anytime early in the year?
Well, this is the operating. budget.
This is operating,
Oh, okay.
capital.
Okay.
But there will be, yes. Someone asked me today whether they should be planting potatoes on Mount Street now, or is it gonna get paid when we do it, so.
Feed the community for a while.
Well, that's true, yeah. I should have answered it that way.
I'm surprised it was a potato.
That was somebody that posted on social media, so it's been picked up around the community. So all those in favor of that motion that's been made and seconded?
Aye.
Any nays? None. I added, fire department, fire on Water Street. I was there, cost me an ice cream. I pulled into the parking lot to enjoy a blizzard, I looked over and saw the confrontation in one parking lot, so I said, oh, darn, I have to get out of the car, so I went over and myself, and I gotta thank Kevin Locke. Kevin Locke office is over across the road. Went in that building twice, but everybody was out. I said, don't go back in that building. But he took some smoke and stuff. So I gotta thank Kevin for his effort. And I have, but on that, but I had to put my ice cream in the flower box and it was gone by the time I got back to it, so.
Post office and I was stopped at the corner of King Street and the church. And they're mounting in the SUV. I don't think his wheels touched as he pressed it to hit it.
That was probably the result of 3 calls I'm aware of. I made one. I was there just kind of standing between people. And I asked Kevin, he had contacted the fire department and the police. So I stood there 5, 6, 7 minutes. Now, the timelines always seem longer when you're there.
Yeah.
And when I looked up and saw the bay doors opening up on the fire department, so I knew that was coming, but I waited a couple more minutes, so I called the detachment, identified myself, and said, where are your members? And then another call was made a few minutes later from our director of public works. Because he called, but that's probably why they come down over the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it was a good thing that I had looked twice, because the first time I looked, he wasn't there.
yeah.
And if I had pulled out, I would have continued.
If the tenants weren't at each other, I wouldn't worry about it, they were at each other, so.
Mm.
So anyway, so I just wanted to, I got 2 things I wanted. One is we're at the fire department, thank them for the work. And, just add mutual, because there were 7 here, but that involved 2 others, so they had a total of 9. 2 others covered other stations, so I just thought we'd write a letter thanking them. The other thing is, it may be a wild idea, and I mentioned to the CAO, I'd like to write a letter to the owner of those properties suggesting, would he be interested in entering negotiation for the sale of those properties? Doesn't hurt.
No, wouldn't hurt.
Wouldn't hurt, just to see what the guys do. I know there's been some conversations, but let's just write a letter saying, listen, council might be interested in pursuing properties.
And you're talking one is still standing?
Both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That would be-
Yeah. Who knows? It doesn't have to be a long detailed letter, just saying, hey, listen, we discussed at council, if you're interested. Because it would address a lot of issues, so, yeah. Yeah, that is, huh?
Airbnbs have been discussed already.
Yes. Lots of things have been discussed.
Yeah.
So,
I had probably a half an hour chat with them down at the site this afternoon. Before I got done, I got about 5 different stories.
Yeah.
Things that like to do, so.
well, yeah, like I said to you, there's some investigation on where our road is and everything else. And that's a pie piece of property, and that's actually an ideal piece of property for a boat launch. Because it goes in, it goes right in the perfect angle to the marina.
Yeah.
It goes at an angle, and it's a pie piece, so. But then again, we don't want to give too many details, but I'd like council to make a motion that we just send him a letter, that's all it is. See if he's willing to open up discussion. Yeah, investment interest, yeah, both properties.
Yeah, make that motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, second.
Second, and then, if he's willing to come meet the law, discuss it, so be it, if he's not, so be it. But to be, All those in favor of that? Motion. Any nays? None. Yeah, never hurts to ask. Okay, we have to move in camera.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Very short meeting, but quiet,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, thank you for having me, and we'll be in touch.
Yeah, look forward to that increase.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Andrew. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. You're headed back tonight, right?
I'm just gonna head back tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Safe drive home.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
See you. Thank you. Take good care.
Can we have a motion to move camera?
So move. You want the door?
Yeah. Just in case, I don't know if anybody up there or not. But, huh? Everybody did. Except Will, but. But anyway, yeah, I know, oh, Peter was there, well, but I was pulling in the Marina parking lot. And I pulled in, I said, I smell smoke, so I happened to turn over and look, and I saw the smoke coming, whispers of smoke coming, and I looked, and there was Mimi, her name is, pounded on Jimmy, what's his last name? Known him forever, his father's name was Trevor. I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not.
They got some, they came to get some footage, I know that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
yeah, he was bent over like, well, they were right at it.
That's a
He was-
native girl?
Yeah, she has a lot of.
That's one that's pushed him out the window at the.
Yeah, the beehive.
Yeah.
Same guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, second floor.
Well, because Don and I went over the hill, we went down, stopped the post office, as soon as I got a little smell, something was burning, and then I heard the sirens of the fire trucks.
Well, she went and got in front of the restaurant, and the officer, calm, cool, said, "Miss, just because you're a woman does not mean I won't put you on the ground and put handcuffs on you." She kept her head on the ground, bang, down on the ground, she went, and the cop shot her car, she went. And I didn't know what was going on, it was like the Wild West there for a couple minutes, I come around the front of the building, Kevin Locke was hollering at me and hollering at the people, and came over to me and said, "Ben, you don't get her out of here, I'm gonna punch her right in the mouth." And she come running at me with her arms up like this. I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna get a hug here, then I don't know what to do. So I just said, "Stop." It was quite a show. Anyway, fortunately, well, nobody was there, so.
So is there a, if there was something built there, is there an environmental problem because of the old courier office that used to be there during the war?
Well, it's on the launch, I think there's rules around that, but if you don't disturb it, that kind of stuff.
there's probably anything that was there is gone with the cleanup.
I want to go down there.
Yeah.
I want to go down there with my metal, actually. I want to do that really something for it.
Find some walls of that.
See,
Most
Well,
of that out the back windows, we just found in the beach.
Yep.
most of that, the material for that courier office building
Yeah.
came from the Maritime Fish Plant.
Oh, really?
That when that closed, Overburn Council tore it down, and that's where it built the courier office. Yeah, or, the courier office, so.
I watched the first one burn
Yeah.
Anyway.
Once you got up in the attic, you know it wasn't what I thought.
Those old buildings must be nasty, you don't know if you really have a fire out or not.
No, when you get into that.
You don't know that you cause fire breaks in them or nothing.
Yeah, spaces, places you don't know about.
When the fire department arrived, Rick was running the pump, and I said, "Rick," at first, I said, "If your truck broke down right now, it would hurt my feelings." And then a little while later, Robbie came over and said, Adrian came up and he said, "This is where we need a ladder truck." I said, "Well, that building burns down, you might get a ladder truck." And then Robbie came over and said, "You're gonna get your wish," he said. Well, by then, you're not getting
I
fired.
drove by and it was the traffic, I said, everybody up, he said, that.
No, it was multiple roofs, and there was fiberglass panels up in one part of that building, on the wall, and they were tearing it down, it's fiberglass. But Kevin Locke told me the fire wasn't in the kitchen. They said it was in the kitchen, but he said, "I was in the kitchen, the fire was in the other room." Probably dropped the spoon. Anyway, that's not what we're here for, yeah. You want me open?
Huh?
Oh.
I didn't bring a copy of that.
That letter? Yeah, this, everybody, no, I don't have a copy of it either, but, Mike's seen a copy. Everybody's aware we got this letter, anonymous letter.
Seen it, but you told me.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'll go
Get a copy of it. Yeah, it's a horrible letter. It's signed, it's anonymous. So if you
I thought we
want,
could take anonymous, not letters.
well,
It didn't come to us.
It's not come to us. It went to Keith Comeau so far, it went to Ed McCormick, it went to Daniel, and it's gone to Joy.
Joy, and there's more public works.
Yeah, they got it?
Yeah.
So first, yeah, it's not worth taking it. It's being mailed. It's a horrible
And-
letter. And
Andrea confirmed that she got an email, and that was email or mailed to municipal affairs. So, and she said, we're not really gonna react to that.
No.
In any shape or form, so, but,
What's the email, Tom?
no.
No, so they're smart enough not to electronically send it.
Yes, well, we don't know that for sure. Andrea is gonna check that out when she gets back tomorrow.
Okay.
She's gonna let me know if, how it got delivered to municipal affairs. We're hoping that they emailed it,
Yes.
right? Cause then at least you'd have one thing to go back to help identify, so.
unless they just invented a new email address or something. But it's
Well,
just
if they did it from their home computer or their own IP address, you can find it.
you can track ID if you really wanted to, but the fact is, if you have an issue, write a letter, put your name on it. Other than that,
Yeah.
screw it. It's a terrible letter. He'll show it to you. They're not gonna react, and we don't need to react to
But if anyone does find out who wrote it, I would love to know.
it. Yes.
Because based on information given to me, I'd love to have a conversation with the person in a different building in town.
Yeah, exactly.
So who'd you piss off?
Well, I think it's somebody who's just hated me for, for whatever reason, prior to me even being here.
Well, you wouldn't think they'd wait 2 years.
Yeah,
really.
yeah, but-
That's-
It can't be because you're a Toronto fan, I know that.
Huh?
Well, the one positive of the whole thing is at least I had vacation planned for, well, not really planned for after that came in, but I was going up to Ottawa, so I got to watch a game in Ottawa on Saturday, so it was
So
it was
you're
good.
good.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was a good game.
Uh,
Game.
Yeah, first of all, discussing that receiving the letter on sign. So one of the names we discussed, that person was on board. One.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, and I was also concerned that they were gonna throw this in, well, a newspaper, nobody would print that letter anyway. That's an issue they don't get involved in, it's not signed. They wouldn't wanna create any hardships for you at work too, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, why 2 years down
Yeah.
the road?
Almost 2.5 years,
Yeah.
Mm.
right?
So municipal affairs will look at it, see how it's, but they tend to shy away from controversial things. That's why I asked her about Andy Knisk, because I follow Andrew McDonald, John Division is the editor. The reason why they won't push that piece of paper through the House so they can amalgamate it if they wanted to. He has 2 cabinet ministers that are both directly affected by that. The health minister, and I forget the other guy's name, one's in the county, covers part of the county, and she covers the other part of the county in the town. So
So one of them be gone.
well, they did a poll out there, of course, I read the question in the poll, and it's a leading question, doesn't matter how you answer it, they're gonna get what they want from you, and they said, you'll lose both your seats. Anyway, this is the letter, but
Oh, yeah. It reads more like a notice or.
yeah, yeah,
Right? It's got a date, March 20th, 2023. Says citizens of Digby. Government corruption has been in our lives for generations, but to hear that it is in our town is very disheartening. Town of Digby held its municipal election in October of 2020. We had 2 candidates run for mayor and 8 candidates run for councilor. Did you know that you must be an ordinary resident in the town for at least 6 months preceding nomination day? And then it goes on to quote section 17(1)(b) of the Municipal Election Act, which is the eligibility of as councilor, has been an ordinary resident in the municipality or in an area annexed to the municipality for a period of 6 months preceding nomination day and continues to reside. In Digby, we have someone that was elected to council that was living in the district of Digby on the Ridge Road and did not live in the town of Digby for 6 months as required by the Municipal Election Act. This councilor is Councilor McCormick, who is also the bank manager at Royal Bank in Digby. It is disturbing to think that he would give false information on his nomination papers. Form 11 nomination paper for mayor or other council members. The real question is, who else knew about this on council and why was he not stopped from running in the election? Election results would be entirely different if he was told he was not eligible to run. McCormick has been paid a councilor's wage and making decisions that could affect our future as a town. This corruption needs to be stopped, and the individuals that are involved in this fraud need to be removed from council. We need a review of all the decisions made during his term as a councilor and a review conducted of the town's operations by a consultant that has never worked for the town. Fraud, wrongful or criminal deception intended to result in financial or personal gain. People of Digby, it is time to speak up and correct what is going on in our town in that town hall. It needs to be done to protect the future of our town. We all deserve to see action taken and this fixed immediately. Speak up and stop it now. And then it has mayor's email address, deputy mayor's email address, Council Turnbull's email address, Council Sunday's email address, my email address, the Nova Scotia Ombudsman's email address, and Municipal Affairs email address.
I haven't got any of that.
Sounds like Henry.
I haven't.
Well, you know what, I looked at the names that ran before.
It sounds like Henry to me.
But did elected, and I didn't see anybody that was like that. But you're right,
That sounds exactly.
I thought of Henry, but,
You can't say I didn't think that.
yeah. But if you feel that way, sign the letter. Sign the letter, stand up and sign the letter. But I wanted, if I could run into Henry, not to ask him, but somehow lead him into a conversation. Yeah, I don't know, Will stopped, talking to Tom, we met with Will, last Thursday, Friday, we get that letter?
Wasn't Friday, but Thursday.
Thursday.
Wednesday.
Well, Wednesday. It was Wednesday, yeah.
Wednesday, okay, I don't know, I just,
Okay.
it's just,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess maybe we could argue, maybe there's some hours or days there, I'm not sure, 'cause I didn't know where you lived at the time. But this is being sent out to hurt you.
I know that when I sat down and thought about it,
Yeah.
went back with everything with Lori. So I bought the house out of an estate. So my friend Nicole used to own the house. She passed away, so Nicole Titus. And we started our conversations when Lori came to the bank, and then she mentioned to me she was selling the house, and that would have been January, and expressed interest. So we came up with a verbal agreement, and sometime it was either the 28th or 29th of February. I was given access to the house. I started moving in right away. You might recall there was this other thing that sort of came up in March. It did slow my entire move process. I still had stuff out on the ridge up until, I think I paid until the middle of April. But for all intents and purposes, I think legally I was considered to be a resident, and I spent my majority of my days here in Digby, and that would have been starting February 29th and March 1st.
But you don't have to justify anything to us.
Well, I know, but it's just like I spent a lot of time sitting and thinking, because there's no formal rental agreement, because Lori sent me the second that I said I wanted to buy it. We talked about price the next day, and they came at me with one price that was $4,000 lower. We met in the middle, and we didn't do formal agreements on things. We didn't need them. And I even remember, like, I know Leslie, we talked when I was doing my paperwork on, like, here's what I can show, here's what I have. I just wanted to make sure that I was good. I met with you about, conflicts, because I have a family member who works for the town. I wanted to make sure I was clear to be able to run this. Mm-hmm. And, well, I won't lie, like, Wednesday and Thursday were pretty shitty days.
Yeah.
I just, there's no one, there's no one that I have ever crossed in such a way that I would think would do that. And, I haven't talked much about it to folks, mostly because I was asked, not to. I have a friend who works in government out in Ottawa, and another one who's a lawyer out west. And they're friends from university, and they said to me, they're like, you're not really in that. You followed the rules as best you could, and as much as you knew for them, and they tried to convince me not to worry, and I felt a little bit better once I came back from Ottawa, but it still hurts when somebody takes a shot at you, and
It was confirmed that same day that you were having work done on your house, and you were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
the other side
And
that I'll finish up with is that when I was coming back from Mac or I can't remember, but I was in the airport. I wanted to stop and talk to someone I saw there, but I didn't because I couldn't muster up the courage to do it. But it was Romeo Dallaire, and
Oh, yes.
for those of you who aren't familiar with him, or who are, like, I thought about him and what he went through in his life, and the absolute crazy stuff that got said about him after he came back from probably what would be the worst actual living example of anything that anyone on earth could have gone through, and that would be the Rwanda genocide. He and a handful of other folks who were there to try and do something about and have the rest of the world ignore them as it happened. And I realized that there are far worse things that could go on, and that even though I'm not happy for someone to anonymously and I guess cowardly put something out there, I'll get through it.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, it's cowardly. To write a letter like that, obviously they did their homework a little bit on the ad and stuff, but not to sign it, that's why I don't even entertain it. Sign it.
yeah.
If it had somebody's name on it, we could say, okay, let's meet and discuss it. But we can't even have a conversation on it.
There's nothing out there probably where anybody would even bother to email us, really. Like, it's not
Well,
out there, like, I got no emails whatsoever.
Yeah, I haven't seen
don't know where
I
it is.
didn't, the mayor mentioned it to me, that's how I can report it, I mean,
I guess our message has to be consistent. If it keeps getting mailed out, we're gonna get questioned on it.
Yeah.
And whatever we say, it's just that it's been looked at and there's no merit to this. No merit. This is somebody that's trying to hurt somebody else.
Or just say, go see Jimmy McAlpine.
Yeah, those are saying 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah, and it was warning.
I only once saw on social media around that, and it didn't gain any traction. And this won't either. this won't get, but I know it would hurt.
Yeah. Well, we drag the bank into it, but
Well,
so it's probably, it won't hurt us. We pick up business from the competition, all the time.
Yep.
Because people know who I am. And obviously whoever this individual doesn't know who I am very well. I'm not going to willingly attempt to commit election fraud. I don't have very much to gain by being, sorry, no offense to neighbors, but there's not much to gain by being on town council.
Exactly, Kevin.
But yeah, to pull the bank, it's actually a bad idea for them if they ever go public with it, because RBC will sue them too.
Yeah.
And they have just terribly cruel lawyers. But you know,
No, it's not a financial gain to be on the council. Your reputation takes the hit, and you spend your own money, even though you don't realize you spend your own money traveling and stuff like that.
yeah, you get invited to every single event that ever exists too. And you
In the
feel,
province, and you,
yeah, you feel bad when you don't do it. And,
no, you can't.
Well, I faced a similar thing, and Tom and Ben could talk to it, but Tyler Colwell has a property right beside Susan's house. And it's a pig's ear with a slap of paint on it. And he was so vindictive because Susan's house was in need of repair that he blamed that on his house not selling. So he got in touch with the fire marshal, he called Ed at the time, they had to come out and look, and I wanted to just rip a strip off of him, but I couldn't say a word. I didn't even want to see him because I saw red every time I thought of it. And just the vindictive, ugly things that he would say to Susan.
And has done to other people.
Oh, yeah.
Why anyone even speaks to that man? He is the lowest of low a human being can be. And that's, just, and I'm like you, I mean, I'm sure you would like to confront your accuser.
yeah.
I mean, in my case, I knew who it was, and it wasn't directly exactly at me, but the innuendos were there, but.
No, so I think, yeah, if the message, somebody is gonna come with questions about it, and we just say it's been looked at, and this is.
Is he mad because they use the walking trail now?
Is it safety is walking around? Yeah, I hadn't answered, I was gonna talk to you tonight, sitting there, about messaging around the smart city thing.
Yeah.
And I thought about that, but that's just gonna pull in more of the crazies on that. And the actual guy that designed that concept got a Planner of the Year award. But what a digital or a smart city is, you build a suburb, you make sure you have services within 15 minutes so people can go to the bank, go to the liquor store, go to the grocery store. They can walk, bike, or drive. That does not mean you can't drive to Halifax and get your liquor if you want it.
Yeah.
But the conspiracy people have turned that you're controlling people's movements.
Well, they've leaked it into the new lights at the superstore, having cameras on them so they can tell when you leave town. Like, that's how far it's gone.
I've been thinking about buying an electric bike. And I said, no, if they see me ride an electric bike in town, they're gonna say, there's the beginning of it, no cars down town. And literally, I sat there that night and had a headache by the end of the night thinking about it. No, I can't do that because they'll say, well, that's the mayor's got an electric bike. No, anyway, Will, we got your back.
I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And
I don't, I guess from the staff point of view, being here, the staff, the accusations that staff done is corrupt as well.
oh, yes.
Nothing to do.
It doesn't sit well with me, so, I'm not gonna give up trying to find out who this person is.
It will come up.
It will come up.
Yeah, it will be a
Eventually
conversation.
you'll know.
It is a conversation somewhere.
Yeah.
But, I'll take, I'll fight to my death to support my staff and support my council, because I know it's all a bunch of horse shit.
You mentioned Henry, and I thought of that day we talked about, when I looked at who
Read
did
it
it.
out loud like that is like,
See,
wow.
once again, I don't know him.
Oh, he's,
Yeah.
He's a funny, like, I've walked down through town and he hasn't lifted his head. I said, hi, Henry, and he hasn't lifted his head. Then other days he says hi.
The last data meeting, he was complaining about every restaurant in town because they're closed at 7 and no one's gonna come and use Airbnb because there's nowhere to eat and on and on. And they should open up for this and that. It's like, well, buddy, like, give us some staff and.
Yeah, his staff
just
and
don't
pay.
understand, but.
Well, it's the wage, $14.75, $15 in October.
Why doesn't he open up a dining room in his own place
Yeah.
to feed his guests?
But if it was him, now that he didn't get on this committee,
Yeah, all in the committee.
that may light him up.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it does. Yeah, he might just say more corruption,
He
but.
fixed about the plowing on Queen Street, the money we use, the waste.
Which is fine.
Oh, it is, but I mean. it
But he
ties
just,
in, right?
everything. That's why, actually, we're in camera. That's why we all unanimously said we don't have him on the committee. Because it would just be disruptive. And we don't need that at the beginning.
His wife's really nice.
Yeah, she is.
She's a sweetheart.
She's working in Nova Scotia, she works there.
Is she?
Well, them to irritate them more, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but I sent Tom the email I got this morning. I'm wanting a word from the town on, I guess Peter might know that, on,
Volunteer, yeah.
the 19th.
Yeah.
So, I'll be getting one of the individual volunteer awards.
Are you gonna wear your roll back shirt?
I got yelled at for buying shirts at RBC, because don't spend any money right now, so, no.
Well, 20 minutes ago, I just found out I'm working for Canada Life.
Oh,
My partner just sent me a message, Canada Life bought it in IPC, so that's the end of it. Completely, just got the, that's why I was texting her, saying, what?
Oh.
That's $10 billion.
what's your share?
My own money. My own money this year.
New logo shirt.
New logo shirt, yeah, it'll probably just be Velcro. So is there any jobs in the bank teller part-time?
Give me time.
Give me time. But anyway, yeah, well, I guess we just have to, if any of us get approached, we haven't yet.
Yeah.
And maybe the message Tom Eager at the staff is, you know,
I mean, nobody's, I mean, no staff member has said much to me about it, other than the fact that, I mean, Joy brought it in first thing this morning, when she come, and she had her letter over the weekend. And, but she knew that, you know, that there was something going on, because Dan had his letter, right?
So, were the addresses to town hall?
No, they were,
Oh, really?
personal.
Cisco.
Well, just Smith's Cove.
yeah, like, this is,
Here, he can show you, he's got one.
To me, it looks like a woman's writing.
This is how it was addressed. Joy Robbins, Smith Cove, Digby County, Nova Scotia, BOS 1SO.
Wasn't even emailed, we just sent them.
No, they were mailed.
They were nailed,
Yeah.
and the post, so,
Well, somebody who knows that she lives in Smith Cove at least.
Somebody's
and
done their homework.
it was postmarked on the 28th,
And from where, Digby?
Digby, yeah, Digby Post Office. It was,
I wouldn't know, they could put that in,
Yeah, box or whatever. But anyway, it's just, it's got list up and put their name on it. It's
it's just somebody trying to see if they can get a conspiracy or something riled up and get something going.
It just, I said, well, before we started, it doesn't matter what you do or how much you try, there's always somebody there trying to bury it.
Oh,
Yeah.
As soon as you get on council,
Going through the.
people start looking at you with, I don't like him, I don't like this. No, it's more, politics is getting worse, and we're
You get
not,
on council, fill your pockets, you get on council just so you don't have to pay water bills, and you don't have to pay taxes.
Wait, you're not talking about water bill?
well,
I'm
I'm a
sure
some people. Well, you know, Leslie told me not to pay mine for the next couple of years, but that's just because I have that much credit.
Credit.
Well, it's 32 months, I looked at it today, I'm getting it down in the line again. But anyway.
I just wanna say, as a returning officer,
Yeah,
for the election.
Yeah.
I find it very frustrating
Yeah.
that we don't have the ability to reply to
Yeah.
whoever wrote that.
No, but that's the thing.
Yes. And as a returning officer, you didn't get them.
I did not get one yet. I went and checked my mail at lunchtime.
Wouldn't you be the first person you sent it to?
Well, Joy got it, Joy was with you, right?
Joy
So
was
you and
the
Joy, so
assistant
she might get one.
yeah.
Maybe they confused you with Joy being a returning officer.
I don't, but other staff, public works staff have gotten randomly.
I think they just looked at who works for the town and sent them out.
So,
And it's like,
And maybe it's an attempt to.
so
And you wouldn't know, things go and all that.
Leslie didn't get one, I didn't get one,
You can look up people online.
and
Matthew.
Matthew didn't get one as of today, right?
So anybody with a real larger title.
Yeah, didn't get one.
but if they had an issue with it, come here and sit here.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
whether they have
So,
any here with us,
I mean, you got,
or sent us one yet.
yeah, well, the thing is, if you got a complaint, make a complaint, sign your name to it, and let us address it. I'm not wasting much
No.
time trying to address it.
Everybody wants to be an anonymous complaint.
And back to this, the smart city thing, you know, that video's up there, that lady in Keppel, that doesn't say anything in there anyway. But now, like, unfortunately, I did look at my phone the other day when I rang, and it's Nella, and I can banter back and forth with Nella, just sometimes I say things just to rile her up. But she was gonna hold a public meeting to address this. She did say the letter from Claus and Sherwood and Lake Pool was incorrect. And I said, yes, it's completely incorrect, it's bull. Wow, there's some things in there though. She's been going through the Canadian infrastructure grants. All of them. She said, so confusing. But to me, it is leading people down to controlling people. And I said, well, you can have your public meeting, but don't expect me there, because you're just going to attract your crowd that is not going to listen. The simple fact is we're developing a trail and bike lanes and sidewalks.
The best defense against that herd comment was, there is not enough money in Digby County to put all resources within 15 minutes.
Well, see, 15 minutes gets you almost to Weymouth, gets you to Sandy Cove, gets you on the Barrack, so everybody's okay anyway. But I
The
did
best
take,
thing about us is, your neighbor, are you going down to Sobeys, can you pick me up something great, like, right?
I did take a picture of one of those those unmanned, flag things, cause the flag was down, I was walking home, and it's got two big eyes on the front of it there, I said, there's the cameras right
Well,
there.
you know what's really funny, in the meeting last night for Scotland Day, they were talking about getting a drone show. In the back of my mind, I thought, oh, no.
Yeah,
drone
I
show.
know.
What are they gonna think of that? Like, oh, look, they're spying on us.
I've had a headache for 2 weeks since that first happened, so.
Yeah.
I don't know, Will's got a headache, so don't.
Do I?
Anyway, for that,
It's just bothers, I'm like Leslie
Yeah.
I talked about it today.
Yep.
And it's just like, you know, I'd like to be able to reach out and grab whoever that is by the throat. But we don't know who it is, and,
Well, especially, I mean, we all get along, we respect each other, we listen to each other. I mean, it's more than our town council does, for God's sake.
Yeah.
And to say that we're somehow corrupt and carrying on,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. We even entertain the crazy people when they show up.
Yes,
Yes,
I feel.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, with debate on any issue, have a civil debate.
I wanted to bite my tongue when now that started to go off in that meeting to say, really, a failed business person who spent more money in remodeling 2 different offices and closed, and you want me to respect your opinion because you know what you're talking about?
I turned around and walked out. I turned around and walked out because I was biting my tongue. As soon as they come in and they started, I said, I gotta leave here because I'm gonna say something. Cause anyway, Will, we'll see what else.
Suck it up, buttercup.
That's
all you can do.
Yeah.
So, Will, something was beating on me, and he said, sucks to be mayor. So we're gonna support you again.
It's because I went to a Leafs game.
I don't understand, how'd they make out anyway?
They won 3-0.
Yeah, how'd they make it Sunday, Louise?
We didn't play Sunday.
We
Oh, you're lying.
No, they didn't. Yeah.
didn't play anybody.
Yeah.
They beat by Detroit badly.
We got our playoff position locked for
That was good.
in
You
like
can't
2
lose
or
enough
plus.
games to get McCarthy.
No, we can't, that's the bummer.
Yeah.
Played ourselves into that.
Oh, no, that still says, like.
Worry about
Yeah.
that.
I said to Peter before,
Motion,
do we won in this game or not?
yeah,
Two, I didn't get letter in.
motion to move out of camera, move out of camera. Go to camera now, can we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
Motion carried.
You consider it a game.